Hey friends, so today is a little bit of a different video. As you can see from the title, today I am going to talk about diabetes, which I haven't really gone into super depth. I haven't gone super deep on my channel about yet, but I've been really wanting to talk about my experience using the InPen, and I can't really do that without telling you all about my diabetes, I think. So this video is going to be about my diagnosis story and all of the seasons that I've had through having diabetes for almost 13 years. So yeah, let's just get right into my diagnosis story. So I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was in 4th grade. I was, I think, 11 years old. I think it was in 2006. Also, I'm so sorry, I actually have a terrible memory, so I tried to like write down and remember everything that I could, but yeah, I kind of have a really bad memory. So I think it was 2006 in December. I was driving home, well, my mom was driving home from dance class, and I asked her if we could stop and go to Walgreens and get a water bottle, and I had to go to the bathroom. And we live like less than 10 minutes from my dance studio, so she was like, no, we are going straight home. Also, fun fact, my mom has type 1 diabetes, and she was diagnosed when she was 8 years old, so 1968, when things were very different in the diabetes world, but that's maybe a story for a different day. So yes, we went straight home, and because my mom is diabetic, she had a meter, like a blood sugar testing meter and kit. So we went straight to her bathroom. She tested my blood sugar and it was at 525, which, if you don't know anything about blood sugar levels or type 1 diabetes or diabetes, normal blood sugar levels for like a non-diabetic human is like 70 to 110, 115, I think. So 525 is extremely high. We tested my blood sugar, got that number, went straight to the pediatrician, and then I went straight to the hospital. And that's where I spent 3 days learning how to give myself shots, how to test my blood sugar, how to recognize my symptoms, and all that kind of stuff. Again, I don't remember too much about the hospital. I don't know if this is just my brain blocking out memories or what. I do remember though. So for the first day, when you're in the hospital, newly diagnosed with diabetes, usually the nurses give you your shots for you. But the first time that I gave myself a shot in the hospital, I like could not get myself to do it. Like I sat with the needle to my stomach, like an inch away from my skin for like, it had to have been like 10 minutes, being like, I cannot just get myself to hurt myself, like in a way. But I did it. Clearly I did it because I'm sitting here right now. So 3 days in the hospital, and then after that, my first year was pretty great actually. That tends to happen with newly diagnosed diabetics. It's called the honeymoon phase, where you're like, not excited. Not excited is not the right word, but like you're thrown into your new routine and you're kind of obsessing over testing your blood and giving yourself shots and whatever. So I did pretty good for the first maybe year, I would say. And then from like 6th or 7th grade up until probably halfway through my freshman year of college, I was kind of reckless. And I hate to admit that because it's terrible that that happened, but I just didn't care. Like I didn't want people to know me as the girl with diabetes. Like I acted like I wasn't diabetic. I would still give myself insulin. I was really bad at testing my blood sugar. But so yeah, as a result of that, my blood sugar levels were kind of all over the place. And I was really, really thin because my blood sugars was high all the time, and my A1C was horrible. I think the highest A1C I ever got up to, I don't know for sure, it was close to 12, if not 12, which is not good. And my A1C now I think is like 6.4, so if that tells you anything. Sorry if I'm kind of rambling right now. I'm kind of just like trying to sort my thoughts out in my head and they're coming out of my mouth. During that time, my first endocrinologist was not a good fit for me. My second endocrinologist was also not a good fit for me. My third endocrinologist that I had in college, she was in my college town. I swear this woman changed my whole life. And she's probably the reason why I'm here today, honestly. Like, she saved my life, not even gonna lie. She got me back on track. She was the one that helped me significantly lower my A1C. She was the one who suggested I get on the Dexcom, which that's when everything really changed for me, when I could see my blood sugar levels all day, every day. Let me back up for a second though. So when I was first diagnosed, I was on vials and needles, an actual like little vial of insulin, I'll pop a picture right here, and a needle or a syringe, which I'll pop a picture up here too. So that was for the first little while, and then I switched to insulin pens, which look like this. And I was on insulin pens until I think my junior or senior year of high school. I know I wore an Omnipod to my senior prom, so I think it was like maybe the beginning of my senior year of high school that I switched over to the Omnipod, which that helped a lot too, because I could just press buttons instead of having to give myself an actual shot. And then I had been on the Omnipod from that time in high school until a week ago, so almost 6 or 7 years. And does that lead me until now? I don't know if that was everything I wanted to say, but I'm just gonna leave it at that because I feel like I was already rambling for a billion years. So now to get into the InPen. This is the InPen. Looks a little something like this. And so the reason why I wanted to switch to the InPen was because I love my Dexcom so much, and I was getting sick of having 2 devices on me. And if you have no idea what that's like, having things like on you, it probably won't make a lot of sense, but just like sleeping and bumping into things, Omnipods stick out way more than this does in my opinion. It's also bigger. And like rotating it all the time and finding a comfortable spot to have both your Omnipod and your Dexcom, it was just kind of wearing on me. So I had an appointment with my doctor and I asked her if I could try going back to insulin pens, which is a fairly common thing now that I've researched a little bit around. It's fairly common for diabetics to take what's called a pump break and go back to insulin shots for a period of time. But then she brought up the InPen, which I've heard of it before, but I didn't really do much research about it. I didn't really know what it was about. And when she explained it to me, I was just like a no-brainer. So what the InPen is, it's like an electronic insulin pen. So there's a cartridge of insulin in here that once it's empty, you take it out and put a new one in. And it comes with an app that you can actually link to Dexcom as well. So here's what the InPen app looks like. It has all of your therapy settings in it. So it's basically like an insulin pump in the fact that you can put settings in, and it takes out all of the math and the guesswork that you would have to do. It just gives you a suggestion and then you do it. It also tracks how much active insulin you have, or insulin on board is another term that people use, which is something that I've never considered before. Like when my blood sugar would be high or rising with Dexcom, I would kind of what people call anger bolus, and then I'd end up dropping super low because I had no idea how much insulin I already had on board, because that wasn't something that my Omnipod told me. So that is something that the InPen has taught me already, and I've only been using it for a week, is more patience when it comes to my blood sugar coming down. Another really cool thing about the InPen is it actually like can sense if your insulin is getting too hot, and it'll give you an alert for that. It gives you alerts for your long-acting insulin. Not even alerts, I would just say reminders. So every night at, I think it's 8:15 it sets, it reminds me to take my Tresiba, which is really nice. Also, it has you put in when you normally eat breakfast, like a time frame you normally eat breakfast, a time frame you normally eat lunch, and a time frame you normally eat dinner. And if you go past that time, so my one for breakfast I believe is 7:45 to 11. If I didn't log any insulin from 7:45 to 11, at 11:01, I get an alert on my phone saying, hey, did you forget to log your breakfast dose? Another huge thing I forgot to mention is that it tracks your insulin for you. So here, I'll do a little prime dose so you can see. I actually don't know if I can show like a needle on camera on YouTube. So maybe I'll just do that down here, but I'll let you watch on my actual phone. It'll come up, so. 0.5 rapid acting insulin. So yeah, it logs it for you, which is super handy. And it also logs your primes. So that I usually just do a half unit to prime to make sure the insulin is coming out properly. And so if I do the half unit and then like 2 seconds later give myself 2 units, it deletes the 0.5 unit because it knows that that was a prime, and it just logs the 2 units. So sorry if the lighting or the angle or anything has changed. I just started editing this video and I realized that I forgot like a giant part of this app, and why I love it and why it's so easy. So they have this feature called Calculate a Dose. So you click on that, you put what your blood sugar level is. Let's just say I'm 115. And then you put in how many grams of carbs you're about to eat. So let's just say 20. And then it gives you a recommended amount of insulin. And then press save. And then that will stay there until you give yourself 2.5 units of insulin. So yeah, that's another very handy thing about the InPen. So far, I really have no complaints about my new regimen. I'm actually loving Tresiba. My body is really responding well to it, which I'm thankful for, because prior to switching to this whole thing, when I was on the Omnipod, I was really struggling with overnight highs. Like, even if I went to bed at like 100, I would creep up during the night and be hovering at like 230 or higher. Then I would have to wake up and give myself insulin and go back to sleep. But with Tresiba, I have seen really no spikes at night. I know it's only been a week, but so I'm really enjoying that. And everything else, like the only con I would say is having to give yourself a shot, which really doesn't bother me that much. I don't know if I have anything else to say. I feel like I've been talking 10,000 miles a minute. And I'm sorry if I was, but I guess if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments down below. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one.